Welcome to this Friday afternoon edition of the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast. Let's talk about Marcellus Wiley put this video out explaining why exactly Shannon Sharpe was let go from ESPN. I'm going to play some of this clip, and then I'm going to give a live response, to this. It's about 9 minutes long. So if you're just coming in, make sure you thumbs up the video. And listen, because obviously when you sign with companies, they have different clauses and things like that, especially a company like Disney, which owns about 80% of, ESPN. There's rules you got to play. Hi, haters. What up, Jersey? Kim Dong, what up? What up? So let's jump right in, to what Marcellus Wiley says. And excuse StreamYard, and it's lagging again, but nevertheless, we're going to get to it. So PJ Allen in the building. Let's go.
For now. I repeat, for now. So I'm at an investors conference and I was listening to some pitches, decided to take a break, went to the bar to hydrate, opened up my phone, and boom, Shannon's X account has this screenshot. Quote, "My statement is found here and this is the truth. The relationship in question was 100% consensual. At this juncture, I'm electing to step aside temporarily from my ESPN duties. I will be devoting this time to my family and responding and dealing with these false and disruptive allegations set against me. I plan to return to ESPN at the start of the NFL preseason. I sincerely appreciate the overwhelming and ongoing support I've received from my family, fans, friends, and colleagues. Shannon Sharpe." Wow. Kaboom. A lot of conversation about would Shannon Sharpe be able to keep his job throughout this litigation process. We now know that answer. What happened? What changed the hearts? What changed the minds of those ESPN executives? Because when the allegations first hit, Shannon Sharpe was allowed to still come on air. Something changed. We'll talk through that. But first, I want you guys to all know, what did Shannon Sharpe sign on to when he signed to go to ESPN? Here's their conduct policy. "You will act at all times with due regard to public morals and conventions. You shall refrain from any offensive or distasteful remarks or conduct in the production and broadcast of the programs. If at any time you shall do or have done any act or thing that would amount to a felony or misdemeanor under federal, state, or local laws, or which tends to bring you or us into public disrepute, scandal, or ridicule, or which might insult or offend the community or substantial group thereof, or which might reflect unfavorably on us or injure the success of the programs, we shall have the right to terminate this agreement at any time before the expiration of 30 days after the date on which we acquire knowledge thereof." Just wanted to clarify for everybody out there, there was a 30-day clock that started the day that ESPN found out about these allegations in terms of enforcing their conduct policy. So now let's get into this, because Shannon Sharpe, like everybody, was under the presumption of innocence when the allegations first hit. He actually still is. But here's the problem. There are two ways to fight allegations like this. The traditional method, which you let your lawyers speak and you put out that blanket statement that says, "I'm going to let due process take care of itself and we'll discuss this in the court of law," blah, 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 right? And then there's the newer model, which Jay-Z took, which is come out swinging, and not only swinging, but successfully winning that fight, getting the case dismissed, turning the plaintiff into a defendant in a countersuit, and suing them for defamation along with the lawyer. Now that's a knockout blow. Shannon Sharpe chose the Jay-Z route. He even mentioned Jay-Z in one of his responses to these allegations. Here's the problem with the Jay-Z route, what Shannon is going through right now. Because when you go, if anybody's ever been in a fight and you win that fight, people gonna know you still been in a fight, even if you're victorious. So ESPN didn't sign up for a fight with Shannon Sharpe. And Shannon Sharpe signed on to ESPN saying everything in that conduct policy I would adhere to. So with the presumption of innocence, all of a sudden they had a change of heart, change of mind, and said, "Hey, we'll allow you to put out this press release. We'll allow you to mention it first. You can say we're mutually parting ways for now, whatever you want to say. but we can't continue our relationship for now. We'll see if that's forever when the NFL preseason starts. But here's the problem with it. And these are some of the missteps. And I've heard a lot of people talk about these missteps, and I discussed them as well. When you come out swinging, you got to remember they're going to fight back as well. And in this situation, leaking text messages, audio leaks of you privately going to choke her and publicly going to choke her, and even the racial elements of a black man versus a white woman, and those conversations that were leaked to the public. And even Shannon's response, where he said that the lawyer has a vendetta against black men and black celebrities, whatever it may be. ESPN didn't sign up for that. Disney didn't sign up for that. Those are demographics that they respect. And no matter what you caught yourself into, whatever you stepped into, Shannon Sharpe, ESPN doesn't have to step with you. And then some of the content, let's just be real about it, is graphic, pornographic, if you want to go that far, erotic. Point being, it's hard to sell a Disney movie in Snow White when you got these kind of conversations being had on your platform about your brand, about one of your brand ambassadors, your talents. So then that discussion led everything astray. And ESPN, now this is me just guessing, conjecture. If Shannon would have allowed this just to hit as an allegation, stayed quiet as they did on air, only Pat McAfee and his show had one conversation about it, and that was in a joke. That wasn't even Pat McAfee. No one has discussed this. If this would have just stayed allegation, we got to wait. I think Shannon Sharpe is still employed by ESPN. Now, we all saw that Michael Irvin and Paul Pierce were let go for less in their situations immediately, it felt, right? But you got to remember this. Respectfully, they're also regarded as lesser talents than Shannon Sharpe is by ESPN right now. He's certainly the king of the internet in terms of sports media. And you can make an argument that with his participation in all these shows, that he may be one of the kings in sports media, even in cable linear platform. So ESPN is like, look, these text messages too much. These audio leaks, way too much. And you about to go to 3 much, because there's a video that you even said that's going to make you look bad. And we have to wait for. Well, we can't wait for that anymore. We can't step together as this case continues. So a very public case that was just an allegation has now been litigated in the court of public opinion. Problem with litigating it for the world to see is that ESPN and Disney was a part of that world observing it as well. My take beyond everything I just laid out for you guys is this. We'll see what happens in the NFL preseason, because a lot's going to happen if they continue this outfighting, not even infighting, outfighting, outward facing, public facing fighting. It seems like every time one shoots, the other one has a shot in the air as well. Will they continue this before we even see them in a court of law? And I think it has to go to the courtroom, because it's not beneficial for right now Shannon Sharpe to settle. He will never get his reputation back to the level he can attain if he settles now. Because the settling, the $10 million plus settlement, once that was botched, once that was not accepted by the plaintiff, we got to go all the way with it, right? It's all or nothing. And right now we are all into this. Sad state of affairs, because I root for Shannon Sharpe. I think everybody in this game has to root for Shannon Sharpe, because he's bossing. He's out there winning. But as he just learned a lesson, as Stephen A. Smith always states, we all got bosses. And I think Stephen A. Smith knew this was coming. You could tell by the tone. You could tell by his remarks on his own platform that this was going to be an issue in terms of employment at ESPN. Let's see how it all plays out. I'm not certain, and I don't believe that Shannon Sharpe will return NFL preseason unless this goes away, unless this turns into the Jay-Z conversation and he can prove his innocence and salvage as much of his reputation as possible. But continuing this route where we all are opening up our phones when we're at the bar, when we're around the house, and seeing X and seeing more leaked tweets, leaked audio, etc. is not going to fare well for Shannon Sharpe. So beat it up in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. We saw this coming. It's here. Let's see how far it goes. All right. Tough state of affairs. All right, bye-bye.
All right, now again, this is I was saying this yesterday, and everybody went in on me. Oh, how could you say this? How could you say that? Look, at the end of the day, look at the optics of the day. ESPN went to him, ESPN/Disney. They went to him and they said, look, either you sign this clause, this, and this. Either you walk away, tell them that you're going to stay away for a certain amount of time, or we're going to have to fire you. This is what happened. It's just like when a police officer does something, right? And they say, all right, it's a leave of absence. He's stepping down from the police chief. Yeah, he stepped down, but behind the scene, it's almost like a dignity thing. Like we're gonna do it, the dignified way, let you step down, because if we say that we fired you, then it's gonna look bad for your case coming up. Adam Escobar, he tried to settle for 10 million, made him look horrible. He's done, unfortunately. Yeah, like why would you settle with somebody if you know that you're right and my money's long? I'm not settling with you for shit. Right? And money, as we say, money can't fucking save everybody and change everything. You know what I'm saying? It just can't. You know what I'm saying? So, he should be here soon. Yeah. All right, yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about for sure. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it looked crazy. It's the optics of this whole situation. PJ Allen, basically, he said indefinite suspension. Absolutely. It's we're gonna come back to preseason. No, you're not. The only how you're gonna come back, like Marcellus said, is if this shit just go away. You found that this chick was 100% lying. Other than that, it's over. You're not coming back, and it might not be a horrible thing because he has other brands. He has the Shay, which I don't know the optics of that situation. If it's 100% owned by him, I don't know. But I was hopefully that is something that he started with his investors, and it's something they could keep going, because remember, that's on YouTube. So when you got a platform, unless YouTube, and that's another thing. If you're convicted of something like this, they actually have the right to get rid of you as well. Gotta remember that. We've seen it happen with other people on YouTube. I ain't gonna mention the guy's name. One creep. He was caught messing around with a young girl, and they got him up out of here. So it definitely can happen, right? Let me go to Eat Food Music. Hell no, I'm not paying anybody if I'm not guilty. Hell no. Let me put this one up real quick. And it's a little delayed with StreamYard. If y'all see me last night, you already know that $10 million is already played for Lawyer and Pasty Girl. It was a pre-orchestrated. He goes on tour. And he has no time for ESPN. I don't know about all that. That's a conspiracy, and it wasn't just $10 million. It was tens. They said tens of millions. So it could have been 20. It could have been 30, but definitely under 50. So you offer this bro all this money because his attorneys and the people that his advisors around him said, yo, let's get ahead of this thing. But see, trying to get ahead of it, and if they don't settle and the information comes out that you was trying to settle with them and they don't do it, you have what you have now. It's a backlash. Let me read this one. I think this is a decent one to read here. Some folks don't want their reputation ruined, so they settle. He knew it would have messed up his deal, right or wrong, so he settled. I believe he didn't do anything wrong, just wanted to go away. I believe that too. I ain't gonna lie. Cold to God, I believe it too. But when you got money-hungry people out here, people that are setting you up, like I feel like that lady is, from the information that I have right now, it just looks horrible, bro. You say you're gonna choke her. Now she's accusing you of the R word. They got this shit recorded. It ain't like it's like an accusation and, she said that you said. But they have evidence. Whether or not it's the BSMD, whatever you call it, that's up to interpretation. Now, once he gets to court and this goes full way and he's able to prove, to this particular person, these people might be coming. I have to jump off here. I got a meeting at 1:00 anyway. If you're able to prove to this particular person, right, that's and you was into this stuff, it'll help your case for sure. You know. So yeah, let me 1 second, guys, because I'm actually in a place right now. So give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. All right, y'all. So sorry. So I'm about to get up out of here. I got some stuff to do. I wish I could stay in with y'all long. I actually got a meeting at 1 o'clock. Somebody just came in. So let me handle what I gotta handle. And hopefully I'll be able to jump on here later and talk to y'all. So with that being said, have a good one. Hit the thumbs up button. Peace.